personnel wise, obviously that's not my job, but I'm just excited to have a group of guys in here who's going to be willing to build this thing from the ground up again. I think just one thing that will it's on the front of my mind is just us getting back to executing winning time moments. I think that's something that we've always spoke about since DQ and the staff has been here, but it didn't show up like we wanted to this year.
The man is back, y'all. We're back. Call your mama, call your daddy. We're back and we're back. We're back. Tony McGee, back, y'all. We're back. Tony McGee. Come on.
Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee, Pro Football Plus. Tony McGee.
People don't know the real story of what happened.
It was an unbelievable series of events and an unbelievable time.
Their championship was taken away from them in 1969. We are living in their championship now.
50-some years later, good is coming from it. They are impacting state after state after state after state.
And we're going to show the world how to love.
Crystal City Sports Pub, located in the heart of National Landing, is ranked one of the top 20 sports bars in the country. We are open 365 days a year. Crystal City Sports Pub, with its laid-back atmosphere, is the place to be. We offer 3 levels, over 100 TVs, an 18-foot video wall, pool tables, 3 full bars featuring 11 beers on tap, an extensive menu, and super friendly staff. We offer on- and off-site catering and ample space to host private parties and gatherings. Come experience Crystal City Sports Pub. It is the place to be.
Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. For the 19 weeks here, we've been agonizing on how this team would do. Well, as we know, we're going to talk about them a little bit in the beginning, but we're going to the playoffs, talk about the teams and winning. Now, if we take a look at each Washington player, I'm going with each of you. I want you to tell me. I got my gang here. I got G here. I got Donna here. I got the big fella here. I got Mike here. So I got all the people I need to roll. I want y'all to tell me, and we'll keep it kind of slow or kind of fast, whichever way you want to do it, but let's not go too much. But tell me what you think this team needs. I'm going to tell you right away, I think they need to overhaul the whole defensive backfield. Keep a few of them, but I'll let you guys talk on that. They need to get 2 edge rushers. If they don't get 2 edge rushers, I mean, one complements the other. Now they only have one guy that gets there sometimes. But I'm going to leave those thoughts alone this time and say, Donna, what do you think they need to get in this draft? And it's going to be very important. And now that they got a new OC, what you could tell us a little about that, where is his head?
Yeah, Tony, the Commanders add a new OC to the team. They moved quickly on this, Tony. David Blau, new offensive coordinator. He's been with the Commanders for a minute now. Last couple of years, the Detroit was courting him, Tony, wanted him, and the Commanders ended up moving fast on that. So I think that they made a good pick right there. We have to wait and see because he's never been a play caller before, but everybody knows that this is a smart guy. He came from Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. He's been with some other people around the league, Tony, so he's had his feet wet too, Tony. So to me, that's where they need to start with their they have to get a defensive coordinator, offensive line coach. So they've got some work yet to do, Tony, in this team and putting together the coaching staff.
Yeah, but when you tell me that he has no experience doing anything, how can you tell me he's going to be good?
I didn't say he was going to be good, Tony. I said that we had to wait and see, Tony.
That's what we've been doing for 10 years.
Get my word straight. I said that we had to wait and see. And you know what? That they don't have time, Tony, to figure this out. But they believe that this is the guy that they want in-house, and they didn't want him to get away.
Okay, well, G, now you looked at all the receivers this year, and each and every time you told me that you thought they were decent. There was a couple of that was really important to this team. Talk to me. Should they go out and get more receivers or keep the ones they got and maybe try to add a vet? They may can get somebody out of Philadelphia the way he was acting. Now, but tell me about it, G.
Well, I don't think they won't, Mr. Brown, but I think Don't get me wrong. I think he's a spectacular receiver. I think he's one of the best receivers in the league. I just think, he's like me times 10 in terms of like what he's going to do and ownership. I mean, with the team, if he's in a bad mood that day.
Yes.
But I think they're okay at receiver. I don't think they need to really go out and get any new receivers. I think they're fine for what they have right now, quite honestly. I mean, I don't think they need to do anything differently. Like you can see, like when they were playing well this year, their receivers played well. I mean, it just came down to like our defense needs to be overhauled. Like, I mean, our defense is just.
Yes. I had to agree with that. I had to agree with that because, people talking about the reason you're saying correctly about the overhaul. I said defensive backfield, but one leads the other. And when you have a bad defensive backfield, it makes your lineman bad. When you have bad linemen, it makes your defense look bad. So,
I agree with that.
They do have to overhaul it. But one thing I do know, Michael, every one of the teams in the past that they saw was rebuilding, and they rebuilt and became successful, they had some 2 or 3 draft choices on that offensive line. What do you think about that? Should they go after some more? Everybody is saying, well, they made some improvements this year. Well, it wasn't good enough. You didn't get to the playoffs. You didn't scare nobody, and you didn't keep the quarterback dry. So talk to me.
Tony, you said it a couple years ago, you and Gary. It is injuries and strength of schedule. And if you've got a star quarterback, you got a good shot of making the playoffs. If the injuries and your strength of schedule is somewhat mediocre, that's all I can say. You've got the quarterback; he just got hurt. But I think I agree with what Donna said. I think the offensive line is pretty much in place. The defensive line with Armstrong coming back, I think you're going to be fine there. In the 7th slot where they will be drafting, if things go right, either in the 6th or 7th slot, one of the best pass rushers and edge rushers in the game is going to be available, college edge rushers. So they may get lucky. They may be able to stack it right there. If they don't get their guy, they can always slide down and trade that pick. But just getting back to it, there's one thing about the coaches I just got to throw in here, and that is, I think Dan Quinn's a lame duck, and I think he's got 1 year left to prove himself. I think everybody loves him. The team loves him. Jaden loves him. Everybody loves him. But I think Don is right. I think that team was really afraid that Blau was going to get away, because look at all of the very talented people. Kyle got away. LaFleur got away. O'Connell all these guys. McVay got away. And here's another 30-year-old that's got a lot of promise. So I think that was a wise choice. Don is right. However, you're not going to attract the kind of guy that you'd like to have as defensive coordinator where all the problems were. I sort of agree with one prognosticator. He should call his own plays next year. It's his lame duck year.
Ain't gonna happen, Mike.
No.
Take a chance. Now, there is a kid they brought in, Denard Wilson, and I know that they're very high on him. He was the defensive coordinator with the Titans. It's a little bit of another tree. It's not, of course, from his tree, but they were really high on him. And I have a feeling that it's going to be Denard Wilson.
Well, you're right on a couple of things, and you agree. And I don't think the offensive line was that good. I'm not going to say they don't need to. They need to wreck it and bring it up and get some people in there that's nasty, some people that's going to go out there each day.
What's the defensive side of the ball?
Well, I'm getting ready to get for them too. And you saying get one, Mike, you got to get 2. You got to have 2 good rushers, unless the one is going to be just penalized for being the best. So I look at you right on that defensive line, but I just think they really need to add to that, and they need to revamp that offensive line. But now I don't want to go over the defensive line because Solomon, I know you've watched them and talked about them all year. So bring me into what you think they should do.
Number 7th pick, big up to the U.
Mm-hmm.
Reuben Bain Jr., Pop. This kid is a disruptor. He could play inside, outside. And biggest thing I watch about this kid, and I think that's who Mike was referring to as far as this edge rusher, Pops, he can do it all. He reminds me of a young Tony McGee. And what I really like about him is he has stayed healthy through college. That's one thing I don't want to keep making it. And I know how injuries happen, but if you're in impeccable shape coming in, you better your odds. And I just looked at our guys too. With the injuries we got, did we have the best in shape players this year? No. I've been watching this kid, Pop, Reuben Bain Jr. and Dorrance Armstrong. Keep them two. Everybody else has to. They have to make it again. If you're gonna be part of this Commander team next year, people came on strong like Newton at the end of the year, but you can't wait until the end of the year. Payne,
when it don't count, right?
When it doesn't count, so they got to prove themselves. But Dad, this number, remember that name. If we pick right, because we need somebody that every time they get out there, they got to worry about them. And other than Bobby Wagner this year, who else did they really have to contain?
Hey, Tony, I wanted to jump back in because I got a chance to go into the locker room at the now, and Brandon Coleman is a guy that they didn't know what to do with this year. And I think that they wasted a lot of his talents because they was moving him all around. So, Tony, before you clean it up and whatever, let's go into the locker room to hear from the players, some of the top players that may not be here next year or they may be here. But it was interesting what they had to say.
Having LT here, like I talked about all season, but having him here has been a great help just because I see his process, the way that he sees the game, the way he like plans for games. So I was kind of able to get some stuff from him. It really rubbed off on me.
What is key for your continuous development looking ahead?
Yeah, it's just reps. I'm able, like I told coaches, to do anything they need me to. At the end of the day, it's just about giving me opportunity to grow with that. Being clear with what they want from me this offseason is going to be big, and we talked about that. So that way I know what to work on, what to expect going into the season.
And did they impart a little bit about, like you said, being clear in where you fit in with this team?
Yeah. They're going to make their decisions, but like I said, that's what we were just clear on, giving me an answer. That way I know going into the offseason I have something to work on, I have something to really focus on. Because at the end of the day, if I just have that time, I'm able to really develop and be who they need me to be. But yeah, I'm just excited. Like they're taking it really serious. They take care of us, and they made it like a point that they want us to grow. They want us to be better and be part of that process of us growing in the offseason. So I'm just excied to be part of that process.
And everybody always looks in the mirror when a season is over. How do you assess yourself this year?
I could have done better. And I feel like a lot of us, this is me personally, could have done a lot better. And, wasn't one of my best seasons, I can say that. But definitely, going in this off season with the right mind and, ready to work. It's a lot of things I got to work on. And to my game, we're adding to my game. I got from Bobby. I just picked on Vaughn. You know what I mean? Those guys. I have a full season now where I'm like, okay, I know what I need to work on in the off season. And also just watching myself, being self-critique about myself and what I could be better on and assessment.
What's the season been for you?
A lot of ups and downs. It's been different.
What has Bobby, when you watch film, you said with him and throughout this course of the season, and even looking ahead, what has he told you that is most important in moving ahead?
Like as far as football wise, just continue to have a plan. For me, it was really trying to get my process right. What I do in the morning and all the way to the end of practice, and when I get home, like be consistent in that routine. That, and then like football wise, watching film, instincts like tendencies of the offense, and then like certain players, like if a certain player like is a fish or something like that, just attacking a certain player or things like that. So he's been helping me a lot.
Did you see the field even better this year as it went along?
Oh yeah, for sure. I got more comfortable. The more I got out there, the more plays I was able to make, the more comfortable I was able to get.
Well, if you take a look at that, they are saying that each and every week. Now, we're going to take a break now, but I want you to think about it. How many times do you see them? And one thing I do like, they want to get better. They have to do that. But, you walk the game, you got to talk it, you got to walk it. We'll be back in a minute.
In the Minute with Tony and Donna. You can catch them weekly on their podcast, and you can also subscribe to their YouTube channel, In the Minute.
They got a new OC out there. They got some new people. What else do they need, Rick, to go forward?
Well, they got control. if you want to run the whole program, and the guy that was in his job obviously wasn't listening, he and DQ weren't on the same page. As the head coach, everybody should be doing what you want done, or you should get rid of them. And that's basically what they did. And I like a guy that I've heard nothing but great things about him. And remember all the young talent we had here, and we lost them all. So if Blau's that kind of guy, then so be it. It's not about the guy, it's the guys on the field executing the plays. So if they execute the plays better, they'll have better results. They don't tackle worth of crap. I mean, there's so many things they can improve upon. They need better talent. I mean, so let's not act like this is one thing going to fix it all. It's not.
Exactly.
And now they still got to get their defensive coordinator, their offensive line coach, because Bobby Johnson also is no longer with the Commanders. But I think with David Blau, the great thing that you said, Rick, about having him here is he's a former quarterback. He's been with Jayton a little while now. So you don't throw a curveball to Jayton also by not having a familiar face in the house that's able. And I know everybody is saying, hey, man, this is his first time play calling. Everybody had to start somewhere. They moved quickly, Rick, on hiring this person too in-house because other people was trying to get him also.
Well, his old team, Tony, the Detroit Lions. That would have been a coup if they had been able to bring, because they definitely need to up their game. I like it where it's at. I don't put too much on. I didn't like the idea that the head coach didn't get the type of team he wanted. Why not? You got rid of the defensive guy with no problems, but you seemed like you had a wall between you and the offensive coordinator. So that's why I smelled a rat the whole time. Like, what are we talking about? So that had to go, and I'm glad it's done. And so now we're going to find out what happens. And then as far as them being healthy, hell, the Niners aren't healthy. They need to play ball. This is not a promotion. Now this is the line of scrimmage. And hopefully this guy will have more respect for the line of scrimmage than the other guy.
With that being said, Rick, let's go on into the playoffs, and you're right. You look at the 49ers, they had tons of injuries, even lost their tight end during the game.
Yeah.
And they go out and beat the Philadelphia, who is the defending champions. But as we all know, and was shown on television, we got a problem there. They are going to have to clean out one. Somebody got to go, the receiver or the quarterback. Am I right with that?
I agree with you. I didn't like the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles didn't play their people against us. You know, you should play at least a quarter or a half. Like Gabe used to tell us, we play till we win the game. So score some points, you get out the game. But they lost their edge, and that big receiver, look, it's going to always be a guy. He needs to be on a losing team so he can respect the game. He has no respect for a great team, and he's part of the problem.
Well, is he part of the problem down and for the simple aspect? He came out a few weeks ago and said, if you get me in the game, I'll make it happen. Then he went on the next game. They threw to him, and he had over 100 yards in the first half.
Hey, Tony, let me just say this. It was so much going on in Philadelphia with that team on the offensive side of the ball. And he was one of the problems because instead of, like Rick said, just go and play and just be quiet. You don't have to tell anybody, throw me the ball. I'll be able to do this. Just do it. And so he's fussing with Saquon Barkley. He's fussing with Hurts. He's fussing with everybody instead of them just playing ball. But I'm 100% with Rick. You want to rest your starters when you could put yourself in position to beat the Commanders, to be in better position, to be at home throughout the playoffs. And you decided to say, oh, we don't want to get nobody hurt. Well, you got yourself hurt because you're joining the couch with everybody else from the NFC East division.
In other words, you're saying they lost their rhythm, but it seems to be a lot of playoffs and a lot of people in this playoffs that have lost their what got them there. And that's that, you know what I mean, Rick? You got to have that, and you guys are exactly right. Why do you take a week off? If you're doing something important like heart surgery, and you say, oh, well, let me take this week. Hey, you can't do that. It kills you. And it did the same thing with them. And I look at them, and you were right about them getting rid of now. They can get rid of defensive players. Sweat's up there in Chicago getting ready to make something happen. The linemen are around everywhere. They didn't upgrade where they should.
Olamide Zaccheaus caught a touchdown in that Chicago win.
You see the safeties? Chargers, our secondaries, and all over the place. We have players that were here that are starting on teams that are better than we are now.
It was such great playoffs in the first weekend of football that it can't get any better because it went down to the wire in most of those games, Tony. It was a heavyweight back and forward in the fourth quarter. That's what the playoffs is about. That was great football.
Don't sleep on the Seahawks.
Seahawks. Thank you, Rick. Why do you like the Seahawks? Rick, why do you like the Seahawks?
Because they're down and dirty, remind us of our old teams. They're going to run it. They defend you. They got pressure on the quarterback. If you don't have pressure, you should just withdraw yourself from the league. If you don't have pressure, you're not in pro football. So that's my number one thing. The quarterback's number one. They're talking about the cover corner. Give me the pass rusher. If you get one, you're okay. Very few people have two. But right now, the most important position that I see that's in flex is the rush in the defensive end.
But who's your Super Bowl picks? I know that the Texans and the Steelers still have to play, but who is your picks right now if you had to pick at this moment?
You know, it's scary. I like the Seahawks. They intrigue me because they're not show ponies. They mules, and they come and they got pressure off the edge. And I like the Rams. Them boys up front.
The Rams, Doc. You know, they seem like they choke. And then number one, hey, Donna, can we scan? Because I know Carol's somewhere in there. Because I know he didn't know how to say all that.
Hey, Tony, but Rick is dead on. We've been talking about Seattle and
Seattle. I have, Rick. That's the one thing we have been agreed with. I said people better not sleep on Seattle and Houston. Those two teams.
I like you. Houston's defense is frightening.
Oh man, if they get in, and then you guys know I like him. I played with Stingley's granddaddy, and so you know I'm liking him. And then what if it happened at New England and Chicago in the Super Bowl? I make it out there.
Well, New England scored a lot more points.
Well, you're right, but at the same
time,
the
D line. Everybody's got a D line.
Exactly.
Everybody.
Wow,
that's the one thing.
49ers showed me some defense. I was like, who knew that?
With patchwork. There's patchwork.
I'm going to tell you what, I don't know if they can get players back, but if they do, they could be very dangerous. For them to take the Eagles apart like that is just amazing. But you know what? We knew the Eagles had a problem. So, you know, someone will be in the Super Bowl that we are not aware of. But at the same time, I'm looking at rooting for my old teams. I like to be the Foxborough people to be there and Chicago people to be there. Welcome back. Now, you know, we've been talking about the guys that's at home, cooking with their wives, having a good time, going to the bank. We're talking about the people that really want to win and make some money now. And one thing that I did see that in the playoffs that kind of disturbed me, when we spoke about it a few weeks on this show, is Philadelphia. Thought they would be a lot better, guys. But when you arguing on the field, arguing at the coach in a playoff game, does that tell you that that team is in disarray? And I tell you what, they probably going to break them up. That's why I said Brown here. So I'll start with Gary because he's been to the Super Bowl. Gary, when you're in the playoffs, you don't have time for that arguing with the coach and I'm not getting the ball. Do you not?
Well, I mean, that's a conversation you, quite honest, you never have with the coach. You have with your quarterback directly. If you think you want the ball more, you have that conversation with your quarterback. And then, but you also have to, you know, prove that you need the ball more. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think he's just a different type of dude. He's he's probably one of the best receivers to ever play. I mean, if we want to be about his talent, but I mean, he's just a different kind of guy. Like, I mean, what makes a football team extremely good is the culture of the team. The culture makes you really good. Like, you have to buy into the culture, and the culture of the team takes care of everything. And he's just, unfortunately, he hasn't, you know, bought into the culture, or at least he didn't of the Eagles. Maybe he just needs to find a team that he buys into the culture of the team. And that's the most important part. That's what makes you a great football team.
Well, you know what? He's right, buy into the culture, but you also have to buy into being a person that they can depend on. And you can't depend on the person jumping out there, arguing in the middle of the game and dropping 2 passes. We'll go past them. But Solomon, where you improve, they improved so much. Were you happy with the way the 49ers came out of nowhere? And they got 10 injuries, and was able to still accomplish that.
They didn't come out of nowhere, Tony.
Yes, they did. Well, what I'm saying, none of us thought after the end.
No, don't be saying no, none of us.
I didn't think. You're right. I give it up. I didn't think they was going to do anything. And you got to remember last year, they were my team.
Well, Dad, I'm going to be honest. They've had, first of all, great coaching. Big ups to Shanahan. He has just done phenomenal coaching because they've had a lot of injuries as well. But the next man has stepped up, like G was saying with us, the thing that we couldn't do. So I'm actually, because I actually picked the Eagles that game, but let's just be honest. And I'm going to say this. Somebody said, oh, the Eagles just got to do this, and then they'll be back next year. So will we. That's what I told everybody. Our division's wide open again. I'm going to be looking for the offseason to see which Eagle Wives going to be on one of these real Housewives of Philly show, and then that'll tell me what's going on a little bit. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's done with Philly. I mean, they're not a good team. Everybody keeps talking about Saquon Barkley. I saw as soon as he started making all the commercials, and I feel like there's a player. Once they start I'm seeing him on commercial after commercial. Now, his first year there, he was hungry. I didn't see him on any commercials. This year, he's on every other commercial. Product went down. So, productivity went down. So, I feel like they done. But, no, I'm not surprised about San Francisco Pops. You've been talking about them all year.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's interesting. Now, Donna, we got about 1 minute left. Were there any interesting teams to you? Who do you think in this playoffs have an opportunity to go on? A lot of people don't know now because it looks as if the younger players are taking over from the old players.
Well, Tony, if you look at the playoff race coming up, you got Buffalo at Denver. That's going to be a good one. Buffalo surprised me. Josh Allen really played well with those injuries. He's beat up right now. And when you look at, we already talked about Seattle. Seattle, to me, is the team that you better be watching out for. And Chicago surprised everybody. The Rams, you look at that matchup. All I can say, Tony, is this was the best weekend of football because it's the best playoffs that I've seen in a long time. And if you look at that big game on Monday night between the Texans and the Steelers will pay the Patriots, but the Patriots better score a lot more points if they're going to move forward.
Well, we're going to have to take a quick break right now. When I come back, Mike, I'm going to ask you who is your favorite because, you've been pretty hot lately. I tell you what, we'll look at the picks during the show. We're going to have some fun, but we want you viewers to understand we're not downing them. We're looking at other teams and wonder how they can get better. We shall return.
Hi, welcome home. It's Michelle Van Allen from Van Allen Real Estate. I am over 20 years experienced in this real estate game. We all know that right now this market takes an experienced agent to get you what you need. All of you sellers, if you're considering putting your house on the market, please give me a call. I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to you to find out where you place in this market. Hey, you first-time home buyers, remember, right now is the perfect time. It's a buyer's market to get you into your first dream home. Hey, you investors, this is an amazing time to invest. If you ever thought about it, give me a call. We can talk about it. We can talk about specific properties that are on your radar and mine. Give me a call. I'd be more than happy to welcome you into the Van Allen Real Estate team. I look forward to talking to you soon.
And we're talking now in this playoffs, AFC, NFC. You're looking at some really good teams out there and surprising teams. Now, before I go to Donna, I'm going to say one team that I'm kind of not understanding is the Rams. They look good, they look bad, they look good, but they have the potential to be the best team out there. A lot of people still going with them, but I'm not feeling them right now. Mike, who are you feeling in the NFC?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that I have been right more than I've been wrong this year in NFL news when I stuck my neck out. But I will tell you, I was so wrong on the Philadelphia Eagles. You guys were saying all season long that there was discord in this team. They were going to be one and done. You said it. I never listened, and I was wrong. And I want to admit, and I want to ask your apology.
Hey, Mike Quinn said that last week. He told
Eagles,
me.
I know. You've been saying, Donna, everybody's been saying it all year long, and I've been sticking up for the Eagles. And mea culpa, Eagles, mea culpa. I was wrong. But The Rams, remember last year how they couldn't get the ball in the end zone to advance in the playoffs? I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, come on, dude. This is where you lost it last year. Get that ball in the end zone. Boom. I'm sticking with the Rams for now. But you know what? You guys make a very valid point. And last week was the killer. You said you got
Mike, they all picked the Eagles, Mike. They all picked the Eagles with you.
I know.
They all picked the Eagles with you. They didn't say anything.
You got Houston and the Seahawks, and you all said it last week. These are the two of the best three defenses. Maybe Denver's in there too, but you've got a Super Bowl that could conceivably be Houston and the Seahawks. I think
That's
Donna's
what I'm
right.
looking
See
at.
how they match up this week.
It's funny you would say that, Michael. That's exactly what I'm looking at, and people understand that a little further when they see both of these teams. These are teams people did not expect to be as good as they are, but they are a lot better than we all thought. And if we go back to the office, the AFC, Donna, what do you think? Who are the favorites over there? I'm going to be pushing. I like Houston, but who do you think is your favorite?
Hey, Tony, in the AFC, it's tough because I looked at last week's and that field goal kicking was killing teams, in some of those games that came down. But I got to go. Denver is a team that everybody is talking about. They ended up being number one, but I think you got to still look at that Buffalo Bills team because they have all kind of weapons there. Josh Allen makes that team go. And New England, to me, after I watched that game against the Chargers, they didn't score enough points for me. Defense, I saw a lot of great defense.
Donna, what game were you watching? They played.
The Patriots scored 16 points, Tony. Did you see the other points that people was putting up on the board?
Well, that's what you don't want. They don't have to. They put up enough points to win. I'm
scared. New England didn't do enough. They got to be a little better than what I saw. But if the Texans can get past the Steelers, that's going to be an interesting matchup because I want the Texans to win too. But Buffalo opened my eyes a little bit more last week.
Gee, what do you think about it? I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to say it straight up. I took Buffalo, and that caused me to tie with you in the games this year. At the same time, I knew better than to do that. But Buffalo, I didn't pick Buffalo, excuse me.
No, you picked.
I picked the wrong one, but I thought Buffalo depends on one person too much. We've seen what happened in Kansas City when you depend on one person too much. Buffalo is that way, so I do not see them going far. What's your thoughts on that?
That's going to be a tough one right there because Buffalo. They came out, I had them last week and they shocked a lot of people. But Denver is nobody's been talking about them, but they're steadily been kicking everybody's butt. Nobody's been talking about them. They steadily been kicking everybody's butt. They get no respect. So a lot of times, if I'm a player and you're not giving me respect, I'm going to have a problem with that, And so I don't know who I'd pick in that game, quite honestly, right now. Because Buffalo also, I knew Buffalo will win last week, but I'm not sure about that game. I'm really not. I'm on the wire. So don't ask me right now because I don't have an answer for you.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting. Big Zo, you know a lot about the AFC, and Donna said that the Patriots did not play well. You've watched them since you were 2 or 3 years old. Who do you think?
Though? The Patriots defense is on point.
Yeah, no question.
I just said in that game, they got to score more than 16 points.
I don't know, because the other games are all high-scoring games.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's the problem. That means your defense sucks.
Exactly, because if you look at this playoff, all the teams in there could do two things. Good defense and run the ball. That's going to be
my
the
defense
form.
is on point, and I can stop you from scoring. Then it becomes a defensive battle.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest. I'm agreeing with G. I feel like the reason why the Patriots scored the points they needed to is just the rest of these shootouts been because of no great offense, but not that great of defense. Where I feel like if you can hold an opponent and then score, and then just like the Ravens did that year, they won. You don't have to have too many points. But the biggest game that I'm really looking at, and I'm looking at where they're playing at. Los Angeles going into the Windy City right now in Chicago. right off the lake. So I'm just interested to see, because I'm going to be honest, the Texans have a good defense if they win tonight, but they still have to go to New England. They're a dome team. Buffalo and Denver, good scratch. It's both freezing there. It's freezing in both places. San Francisco, Seattle, West Coast. It all depends if it's raining and pouring in Seattle. But I'm really scared of the Rams going to Chicago, Paco. We know how cold it's going to be in Chicago.
I know. I don't think they're going to do well there either, but I don't think it'll be just because of the weather. And then when you talk to that Denver, it's going to be cold, but the one thing they have is if your last 4 quarters, you won't be breathing the same way you were in the first one. So they got a little bit of advantage there. People don't look at them because they think they're lucky. They think they got a young quarterback, but sooner or later you have to say, this team is pretty good. And I know you've been looking at this, Mike, a lot, and we've been on the same page. How do you look at it? Well, how would you think it would look to have a Chicago and New England Super Bowl? 2 teams that I built with my hand.
Well, I thought about you, Tony, over the weekend, because one of the last things you said last week was, now that my main team is out, I'm rooting for the 2 teams I played for, and that's New England and Chicago. I don't know what to make of Caleb Williams. That you guys saw the same pass I saw, the one just before they got enough to go ahead. That pass of him scrambling and riding his body and throwing that thing 36 yards down there on a dime to a moving target. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, even Brady, I've never seen anything like that. So he is everything they say he is. And I guess Ben Johnson made the right choice. He went there instead of coming here because I'm telling you, he has turned that team around. And my friend called me and he said, don't be surprised if Chicago's in the Super Bowl, and don't be surprised if they play New England, just like Tony said. He actually quoted you last week.
Hey, Tony, going back to Denver, since Denver hasn't played for a minute now, does that concern you a little bit as far as with Denver? And then when you turn the pages over to the NFC, as far as the 49ers and Seattle, when you look at that defense, it was great defensive play this past week in the first round of the playoffs. But Seattle is one of those teams that is complete. They've got offense. They've got a stellar defense. But with Denver not playing and even Seattle not playing, does those 2 things concern you a little bit?
That's what always concerned me. And that's one thing that Coach Gibbs did not do. We practiced and played the same way and played every game that we could to win. You cannot tell these guys, take the week off and come back against top talent. I think it was a mistake for whoever did that, and it's going to cost them. And you can see yesterday, you can see that Philadelphia didn't play their people, and it looked like that. So with that being said, when we come back, we'll get into this a little bit more, because I still feel that the Super Bowl champion is someone we never would guess. In a minute.
Looking for top-notch sports officials who know the game inside and out? The Greater Potomac Officials Association, GPOA, proudly serves the military community throughout our region, with nearly 90% of our officials being military retirees, active duty service members, or guardsmen. We bring unmatched discipline, professionalism, and integrity to every contest. From youth leads to adult alumni, our officials cover it all. Want to learn more about GPOA or bring our officials to your program? Contact owner and CEO Earl Taylor III at 202-498-2032 or email him at gr8rpotomac@comcast.net.
The one-of-a-kind joy of Kellogg's cereal and ice-cold milk.
And in our last version of Mad Mike's NFL News this week, I want to thank Tony McGee for encouraging me to do this every week. I love writing. I love sports. It harkens back to my days as a college sports editor for the Gunston Ledger. I wrote under the pseudonym Lorenzo Lovejoy That way, when I pitched, I could expound exponentially on this phenom, Mike Baker. Oh, Mike, get a life, dude. You know, I've been right more than I've been wrong this season. I learned that injuries and strength of schedule are everything when it comes to talking about the NFL. It also doesn't hurt to have a star quarterback, and nearly all of them got hurt this year. It's anyone's guess who will be in the Super Bowl, let alone win it. I will miss Patrick Mahomes in the final game and the chance to see Taylor Swift perform at halftime, which the NFL botched. I hear there's even going to be an alternative halftime show. What's that all about? I learned more about football than I ever knew this season by listening to Tom Brady. Tom has become the best. He has one tick, however. He talks too long in between plays and doesn't let the next play breathe for a second or two. Other than that, he's now the best color guy. I mean, he single-handedly has taken the tush out of the push for the Eagles by announcing the two guards were committing false starts each time they ran the play. How many players lined up behind Josh Allen Sunday when his tush push went nearly 7 yards? There might have even been multiple tushes involved. It's gone after this year, folks. And Tom provided the funniest, most insightful look into the mystique of the blue tent. I think we all thought there were mysterious salves and ointments in there. Certainly a table of instruments meant to poke and prod. At least a huge bottle of smelling salts. Nothing like that. Over the weekend, a 32-mile-per-hour wind blew the insides out of it. Brady did his thing. Quote, "Well, at least we now know what's in the blue tent. Just a $90 massage table." Brady is worth the price of the game, even at home, and that's saying something. Between ESPN Prime and Netflix, I spent $1,520 a season to see the games. Thanks to Roger Goodell, at least, the Super Bowl is free, probably because the NFL finds the overseas gate so enticing. Next, Fox created the Fox Box years ago, and now all the networks have their own version. The worst iteration of this was in Sunday night's game with down and distance graphics. Heck, I couldn't even find them at times. This week it was the same color as the Chargers logo and semi-opaque at that. I found it at the bottom left. This is an F in sports broadcasting. I think Kyle Shanahan should distance himself from the plasticized play card. He was calling plays from a handful of sheets Sunday, and the wind nearly had its way with them. On the back of one of those sheets was the wide receiver pass option. That won the game, folks. Let's see if Kyle uses the loose sheets of paper or his 14-inch two-sided play card this week. Bet the game based on this. One final concern when it comes to the upcoming draft. 7 years ago, I was privy to a stats company in the Redskins press box that had affixed chips on the helmets of a half dozen players. That was 8 years ago, and they were providing it for free, and I guess were marketing their services to other NFL teams. Well, in the weekend playoff games, Microsoft Copilot did an AI mock-up of a prospective draft, categorizing linebackers on 40 times, leadership skills, and ability to amass over 100 tackles. AI narrowed this down to one player. Is this the future? Companies like I met 7-8 years ago can now take all the combine information, digest it with AI, and market it to NFL teams. The more input Copilot has can provide teams better draft choices. Really? So which AI service are the Commanders going to use to narrow down their draft choices? Is Mel Kiper Jr. and his era over? Will AI offer their own draft board? Well, that's NFL news for this season, but I want to do a shout out to Charles and Jeff from the Sweet Shop. They follow Tony's show and have been a big fan for years, and they wish Tony all the success in the years ahead.
You know, we've had a lot of fun with this year, and I know a lot of you probably saying, what's that Black 14 thing on his shirt? We want you to come back. And February 18th, we're going to do a little special. We're going to finish what happened at the Super Bowl and talk about that. Then we're going to talk about this Black 14. Now, don't take it in the wrong way for the simple aspect. What we want to talk about is how good it has been with the Black 14 and the University of Wyoming that they got together. And in the last 3 years, we fed 1.5 million people, not just black, not just white, it's everything. You can have two adversaries that come together, couldn't stand each other, and we were working to make it one better. And that's what this country needs right now. So put it on your calendars right now. This show will air on the 18th of February, 10:30. Okay, guys, I wanted to get that in for the simple reason they probably wondering why I wore this shirt. And I was going to say, well, you know what? If you look at this, it's the best time to start doing other things because the team we were looking at, they're looking at it with us. With that being said, let's do this little Sports Bar Challenge. It's hot, Donna, and I tell you what, when you look at the Sports Bar Challenge, the same teams, if we go back and look last year before, these guys know how to pick. And you got the Glory Days out there. They a little bit ahead of my boy Billy over there, but Billy's hot. You got to wait. I don't know what's going to happen. So how will we decide, Donna, which one? Are we going another game? How will we do that?
Well, Tony, let me just bring this in and show you how we're going to do that. Well, Tony, is all going to come down to that Monday night game between the Texans and the Steelers. And it's between Glory Days and it's between the Crystal City restaurant, Billy Baines over there. And Billy, if they end up the Steelers winning, Tony, then Crystal City restaurant and Billy Baines over there wins. And then if the Glory Days, if the Texans win, Tony, they win the Sports Challenge this year. So it's between that Monday night game between the Texans and the Steelers on who will come out winners. And Tony, I want to just bring us our picks and say congratulations to Tony and Gary.
Gee,
the winners of the NFL 2025 season picks. Gary came up strong in that last week, the playoff week, because he had 4 wins, Tony. You slipped a little bit because you let Gary back in the door. So congratulations to Gary and Tony, because this year they are the #1 winners.
Boy, that hurts for you to say that, don't I know you do.
It sure does, Tony. It's killing me.
We told you that at the beginning. You should have listened to us.
Hey, Solomon, all I got to say is it's amazing when somebody wins after a long time and they come back. Gary was the one that was behind in the dust.
Look, I'm not going to hate on that. Hold up. Congratulations, fellas. But let's just sum it up. And I even think James Brown said the other day, everybody's picks in America were kind of messed up this year because a lot of people thought with their hearts instead of their heads. I thought Lamar Jackson, my heart. Jalen Hurts, my heart. The Lions, my heart. Next year, don't worry. Appreciate y'all letting me in the game.
We'll be back, Solomon.
Next year, I'm thinking with this more because think about who broke our heart this year. Let's be honest. Now, it's just these two gentlemen were able to step their game up 2 more wins, but we got our hearts broken this year by a lot of different teams. Like Dad said, it was all over the place.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. And Michael, would you just say before we get off this air how many times I've won this in 40 years? So down
here we go.
Let's see. Fill us in, Michael. You've been there for them.
Yeah, no, Donna, I have a picture of you that I saw with the coach the other day that was posted online when we were all young and good looking. And I don't think any of us had won the picks. Monty Coleman was there too. None of us had won the picks but Tony the first 16, 17, 18 years. And then Gary snuck a few in there. Donna, you got 2 or 3. I had a few. But if you look at 41 years, Tony probably won 35 out of 40.
She don't want to say it. And Gary won the other 4 and she won 2. I keep up with that.
No, that ain't even the truth.
Hey, don't be hating. Don't hate the
y'all
player.
go on and enjoy. Just go
Don't
on and
hate the
enjoy.
player. Hate the game down there. You got beat. Hey, G, congratulations, man.
Congratulations, right back at you.
Quick question, Pop. Pop. What you thinking about the Knights, Texans, and Steelers?
To be real truthful with that, and by the time this broadcast, you guys will know if I was wrong. I like the Steelers, and if they win, I'm happy with that. But I think Houston is the better team. I think they have the better defense. They got a running game. If their quarterback is on, which he has been this year, they are a very dangerous team. Tonight it just be the starting of them going where they need to go. Now I'm going to each of you, Donna. Who do you think? Give me your thoughts on who you think will be in the Super Bowl.
Hey, Tony, can I just throw this in right quick? These are the coaches that were fired this year, coaching jobs that are wide open. So I wanted to kind of like put that in there. You can see that up on the screen. Super Bowl for me, I don't know. Like Gary said, it's just too unpredictable. So I'm not going to even answer that, Tony, because I don't know who I like to see in there. And some new people like the Texans and the Seahawks. I mean, those are the two teams I would like to see in there, but I don't know.
Hey, G, we broke her. She's broke. Anytime she's scared to pick, but we got a couple of more minutes. G, who do you see in the Super Bowl?
You know, I really have no clue. I wouldn't.
He said the same thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if you know New England sneaks up on you. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, if New England sneaks up on you. But I really have no clue who's going to be in the Super Bowl.
Big fella.
I'm gonna start.
Nor do I care.
I'm gonna start with right now, Pops. I got the Rams over the Bears. I got the San Francisco 49ers over Seattle. I got the Texans over the Patriots if they win. And I got the Bills over the Broncos.
All right, Mike, you got a few minutes, 1 minute to close it out. Tell me who your pick is.
There's only one factor we need to take into play here, and that is Kyle Shanahan took his plastic play card, didn't like it. Maybe it was the wind, and he used pages, and they were blowing all over the place. And on the back of one of those pages, it said, receiver pass option. Oh, yeah, we did that. We did that in the Super Bowl a while. Let's try that. Boom! Tony, you've been picking San Francisco not only to go to the playoffs, but to win the Super Bowl at least a couple of times in the last 4 or 5 years. I might think they're the sleeper.
All right. Well, I'm going to look at Houston. I like Houston as a sleeper. We don't want y'all to sleep. As I said, we're coming back on February the 18th with a good show. We'll talk about that Super Bowl. We'll talk about who they have picked up in Washington. We also will talk about making you guys happy. That's why we never say goodbye. We say in the minute.
Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus Speakers Bureau offers you various opportunities to connect with former and current players along with Tony and the crew. For more information, go to redmagplus.com Speakers Bureau.
The one-of-a-kind joy of Kellogg's cereal and ice-cold milk.
People don't know the real story of what happened.
It was an unbelievable series of events and an unbelievable time.
Their championship was taken away from them in 1969. We are living in their championship now.
50-some years later, good is coming from it. They are impacting state after state after state after state.
And we're going to show the world how to love.
In the Minute with Tony and Donna. You can catch them weekly on their podcast, and you could also subscribe to their YouTube channel, In the Minute.